Hey, good morning. Welcome back to 24/7 Moms Live, our unstoppable morning conversation with Trisha and
Steve. It's such a pleasure to be here today.
I was actually watching one of our past shows the other day, watching how he says this. It's such a pleasure, and how I just laugh at it. I don't know why it makes me laugh.
I don't know why
time.
either, because
I've got to get over it because you keep saying it, and I haven't come up with a new word for you to stay. Welcome back, though. We are excited to be here again this morning to share with you some great conversation. Last week we talked about marriage, and so we're going to talk about that again this morning. We're going to kind of continue that talk, but let's talk about yesterday. Like, what happened yesterday? Anything exciting? Nothing really. You know what I did last night? I should not do this at night because I'm tired and I don't really like doing it, and that is signing your child up for the ACT and SAT tests.
That sounded like really awful conversation.
What was so crazy about it was you don't just sign up your kid and put their name and their birthday and their information. They start asking you a million questions like, what grade did they get on their 9th grade English class? Are you kidding me? You want me to think back 3 years and figure out these grades and what classes they took and all? So the kid has to sit there with me while we're doing it, and we're going down. It was question after question after question, and I know the whole reason why they're doing it. They just they're selling my information on my child to colleges to then send as information to come to their college. So it's all about collecting stats to see my child is a good fit for different colleges.
Oh yeah, the data points are worth so much money.
It was driving me crazy. After a while, I'm not kidding you, I just was starting to mark things. Like, oh yeah, I'm sure he took all these classes. Oh, because I just wanted to get through to the process of when can we sign up? What's the date and where's the location?
Did you sign any kind of disclaimer saying that it's...
There's a new rule that came out when our daughter Savannah was doing Running Start that you can only take a certain number of credits between the high school and the college.
Right.
So if you take more than that, you have to pay for them.
Right.
And so I had to pay the college for one of his classes because he's still taking classes at the high school as well, which is kind of sad. I mean, here's this kid, he's working hard at doing both, but he kind of gets penalized for, I don't know, doing it. Anyway, so we had to pay. So I had to do all these kid things last night, and I was like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to be doing this. But we did it, and we're done. I can take it off my to-do list. I was super excited to be able to check a few things off last night off my to-do list that had to do with my kids. And that was my evening.
Yeah. You know, I'm really encouraging Nate, and maybe you moms out there have an opinion on this, is that I'm encouraging Nate that when he graduates out of high school, he'll have a 2-year college degree. Yep. It's the perfect time for a gap year.
Yeah.
And so we're encouraging him to go do a mission program that we call DTS, which is you work with Youth with a Mission. And it's just a 6 months abroad for him to go out and explore part of the world and kind of figure out his own faith and where he's going. But I think that's a perfect time to do that.
Yeah. The hard part with the way that the schedule goes is that unless we find a school that has like the mid-Jan term, like our girls went to a school that had a Jan term, so then their second quarter didn't actually start till February. The hard part with the YMDTS is they go out and they come back like in January, and so kids miss the second quarter of college as well. I wish they would figure out a way that kids could do the first quarter or the second quarter. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like start a quarter a little earlier in August.
I don't think they really pay attention to that, which is a bummer.
No, they don't. I already know they don't. And so, because then they're out the whole year versus he could be out just half of a school year.
Right.
And where a lot of college students, I think, would be more interested in taking off half of their school year and doing a study abroad kind of a thing with a mission organization.
Right.
And then come back and do another quarter or vice versa, do their first quarter and then do their second quarter in a missions program. Right. I don't know, I just was thinking about that as you were saying that, like, gosh, it's too bad because now he'll be out the whole year, which means then he's got to figure out something to do until the following fall.
We can put him to work, working with our companies, but he's, I just like that he's, the problem is, too, we've discovered, like with our oldest son, is that if you do a running start, which we think is a great way to do it, where it allows them to get ahead of some of their undergraduate degree during high school, is that they get done with college after 2 years and they're not done. They feel
like... to do his master's.
True.
Do you need some water?
Little frog in my throat. I think the frog's back down.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, so it does. It graduates them quite early out of college, 2 years in, which was great for our daughter because she did the college thing and the 2 years in high school, then 2 years in a major university, and then she went on and did her YWAM experience, and then she came back and had her job, was teaching. So it does. It just kind of, it's a navigating thing. But we've encouraged Nate to also think of doing his master's right after he does his undergrad because he's still young, and you can still, your friends will still all be in college. Get your master's and do it. So just navigating that.
I need somebody to run our development company, and he's got a real knack for building. So we'll see.
That's his interest. His interest right now is construction management and project management. So we're trying to encourage him to get both degrees. Anyways, enough about our child. Let's talk marriage. We talked a few days ago about the ingredients to a marriage that thrives, and we did 4 of them, and the 4 of them were listen, talk, make time, and be honest. So listening to one another, making sure you set scheduled talking time, make time for each other, date, go on dates, how important that is, and being honest with each other.
But being honest in a way that is going to encourage your relationship. Right. Not be honest in a point of being mean or to break down.
Right.
I mean, we're kind of assuming you know some of these things, right? Because it's easy to be honest and be evil at the same time. Yeah. And so the goal of all this is so that you thrive, right? Is a marriage that thrives.
Right. Exactly.
So we're trying to give you great ingredients to make that happen, and it's not any one thing. It's really kind of a long word, but amalgamation of character traits and behavioral attitudes. And we're just trying to share some of those things. So
we have 4 more this morning that we want to share with you. And so these are kind of like what we call our unspoken rules in our marriage. The next one is be a helper. And that to me is ask for help. You cannot expect your husband or your wife to read your mind and know where you need help. They don't just walk in and see, oh, I think I should help her cook dinner. Or she looks, because when you walk in, it looks like I have it all under control, right? We have to be willing to ask for help.
You don't
of
have
course I have it under control. But
that's
of course,
what I thought.
I invite your help. I love you to help in the kitchen, except for when you make messes.
That's so funny. Okay, go ahead.
But it's true, right?
Yeah.
We have to ask. And so, for instance, don't be irritated at your spouse, especially wives, for not helping you run errands on their way home from work if you never asked them to, right? So instead, say, hey, would you mind picking up the dry cleaning, or would you mind stopping at the mailbox, or whatever it is that errands you have that your husband could easily have helped you with on his way home from work that day, or while he was out and about during the day. Don't expect him to call you and say, hey, got any errands you want me to run? He's not thinking about your to-do list. He's got his own to-do list. So we have to, as women, be willing to step out there and say, hey, this would be really helpful to me if you could help me in this area. What do you have to say about that? Why, you're being so quiet?
No, you're right. I mean,
you're helpful.
I know I'm helpful.
So?
No, I think I'm helpful.
Does it drive you crazy when I call you and say, can you please stop at the grocery store?
No, actually it really doesn't. No, sometimes maybe I don't want to do it, but typically I'm going home anyway.
You don't want to help me do the things like hang the picture or clean your closet.
Yeah, sometimes, isn't that funny how there's some things it's no big deal and some things are just like...
Because I would say that for you, you're really great about helping me like run errands or help with the kids, especially when the kids were younger. You would run kids here and there, and
like the dinner time. I enjoy cooking, so I don't mind going in and getting things going, getting things cooking, because number one, I like cooking. Number two, you're right there. We get to have a little chat.
Right.
And we haven't seen each other all day, so we kind of catch up on our day.
Right.
So those are all good things. But I agree. And I ask for help for you sometimes where I'm under a bind and I say, hey, I really need this. Could you go to the store during the day? And I'm careful how I say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like... because I know you're busy too, and we both have our own agendas and our own schedules. We've been married 30 some odd years. You run your own company. Yeah. I run a couple of my companies. And so we're, plus all the other stuff we do. So I get it.
But the point of this is being a helper. And that doesn't mean only waiting for the person to ask, right? Like for me, I feel like I'm a helper all day long to him. He comes home to clean laundry, a clean house, a bed that's made. Do you know what I mean? So those are the things. As women, sometimes we think, Why do I have to do all this? Well, honestly, he's out working all day. And yes, I do run my own company, but I have the opportunity to be at home and run my company here at home and be with the kids. I have a lot more freedom and flexibility in my day. And I feel like the interior of the home is my responsibility. And so...
But let's clarify, though, with our relationship. It's like, I don't expect you to do that just because you're the wife of the family.
No.
It's really because...
it's important to me as well.
It's important to you, and you have the availability, and for you enjoy getting that organized. And
but I feel like that's my way of helping you as well.
It sure is. I mean,
you don't come home to dirty laundry.
Well, I've never gotten into bed. This is true. I've never gotten into our bed that was unmade when she is home. Now, when I'm home, it's all ready to go. It's already been pulled back, snuggle right in.
Because he doesn't make the bed when I'm not home. But I make the bed religiously every single day. If
I come home, there's been a rare couple times, that she's been on a trip and she's come home and the bed isn't made, and it could be 10:30 at night, and guess what we're doing? We're making the bed. And then we untuck the bed.
I can't stand to get into a messy bed. But anyways, okay, so be a helper. And not only, look for those ways that you can help one another, but ask for the help. Be willing to ask for it. Do not expect your spouse to read your mind. That's not fair.
Right.
Okay, so the next one is be a good friend. Right. And how sometimes we can treat our friends better than those that we are related to. Meaning we can see, I've used this with my kids over the years too, is that you need to treat your siblings just as well, if not better, than your friends, because this is who you're going to be with the rest of your life. And that's the same that goes with your spouse. This is who you're going to be with until death do us part, right? And so
I'm a pretty good package.
We need yes. We need to be good friends. We need to treat each other kindly. We need to be that inspiration to one another, just as you would be to a friend. And we just have to have that friendship. And friends talk, friends hang out, friends play, friends go shopping together. Oh, you don't do that. Friends
I go a little shopping.
Yeah, you do that.
No, but I agree. It's just... You need to enjoy the person you're around a lot. And you need to make sure and take good care of them. And it's not just about doing the husband-wife thing, but it's really just sharing life together.
Right.
And really allowing each other to be who you are. Right.
Mm-hmm. I loved watching my grandparents. They were married 75 years. Mm-hmm. They were married 75 years just before he passed away. Mm-hmm. And I found some papers in my office the other day of the last time I spent with them together, which was just a few weeks before he passed away. They were sitting at the breakfast table at my mom's house eating breakfast, and I had written down their conversation. And it was so cute. It was just things like, honey, we've lived such a good life. We have so many great things. Honey, we're millionaires. It was just some of the funniest, cutest little things. And then it was her saying, honey, I can feed myself. Honey, but just the way that they endeared one another and they talked to each other in their kind and loving words were amazing to me. And so they were such a good example to me of really a friendship and a loving relationship.
It was almost like a little over the top mushy, but it's like it was real. It was their...
Yeah, he treated her like a princess.
Well, I remember the first time I met them, I think I visited you in Santa Rosa, and you wanted me to meet your grandparents, and they were just like really nice and polite. And
they were...
I just remember that they were just this classic suburbia, classic family that I would think that every elderly couple should aspire to be like.
Yeah, they're just amazing. Anyways, okay, so be a good friend. So be a helper, be a good friend. And the next one is choose your battles.
Choose your battles. Now, this is super important because you can argue about a lot of things. I mean, if we really want to be nitpicky on each other, we could find lots of stuff to nitpick about just because of our characteristics of being individual people, right? And so Trish and I are really careful that if this is something you really want to choose a battle about, that you need to have a good reason why and really, really decide that this is something that's going to help your marriage,
right?
Not help your marriage. And on the other end, though, you can't keep shoving stuff under the carpet, if you will, as they say. If there is a problem, if there's an elephant in the room, you need to pick that battle. That's a good battle. Now, you got to remember, it's not the end. There's lots of battles, and we want this to be a battle with a war that ends well, right? So when we say choose your battles, we're just saying be careful in what you talk about and what you select.
Right. So I think when I refer to choosing my battles, for instance, I don't know if I've already shared on this show here before, but recently I had gone away to a women's retreat. And when I came home, bed was unmade, laundry was, in multiple places around the house. The kitchen was cluttered, the counter was cluttered, shoes were laying all over the front entry, typical guy pad. All of a sudden, my clean, organized home, because before I leave on a trip, I'm pretty intentional.
Oh, that's right. Shelby wasn't here.
I'm pretty intentional about making sure it's picked up. And this time, my daughter went with me. And when my girls are around, they will see to it that the house stays in order because they also enjoy it in order.
Right.
But I walked in the door, and at that moment, I had to choose my battle, right? I had to choose, was it worth getting upset about, or would 20 minutes change it all for me? And in 20 minutes, I could make the bed, pick up the counter, put the shoes away, scoop up all the laundry, take it to the laundry room, get the first load of laundry started, unpack my suitcase. It took me like 20 minutes. Now, I could have chosen to battle that one, right? But again, nobody wants her to come home because all she's going to do is yell at us.
There it went back on again.
Okay, we're back. I'm back. He's gone. He's missing.
I don't know what happened to. We'll have to.
Sorry. Apparently, we're having a little technology problem, so I'm not sure where did it go off.
Okay, I apologize. I broke our good camera this weekend.
Did you? But can you just tell me first, where did we leave off?
We left off on choose your battles.
Was that all recorded though? I mean, did they hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and that was being spotty, and a girl in here nicely told me that we were having some technical difficulties. So we did go off, and we're really sorry about that.
Sorry about
we're
that.
Back on. Sandra, thanks for telling us very much. We appreciate that. Anyway, let's move on because we only have a couple more minutes.
Okay, so choose your best. Okay, so the last one.
This is the most important one. We should have really started with this one.
Is argue with respect. And you want to start with that one?
Well, I'll tell you what. They just came out with a recent study of couples that were married over 40 years. And I just heard this yesterday. And the number one reason that they were happy and married over 40 years old is because their whole married life, or most of their married life, they treated each other with mutual respect. Mm-hmm. That when they would talk to them, when they would argue, when they would have fun, whatever it would be, they never lost respect for each other. And whereas the opposite of that is contempt. And they talked about the areas that cause divorce. And one of them is contempt and a couple other ones. But that is the opposite of respect.
Right.
The opposite of dishonoring. So anyway, this is one of the most important areas of your marriage is you must treat each other with respect. That means by what you say. Mm-hmm. Are what you're saying, is it demeaning or is it uplifting? How you treat each other's time. When you're out and about. The thing that I know that's super important to Trish and is respecting her is that if I'm going to be late, I immediately call and say, hey, I'm running late.
I'm running late because I'm at the gym.
Yes. I wanted to get a couple games of racquetball in last night. We're confessing online. And I didn't get there till a little after 5. So
and our dinner time's at 5:30.
Right. So I called and said, hey, can I get 2 games in? And I left there at about 5 to 6. Should have left there about 10 to 6.
There was an accident yesterday on the bridge. I thought it was backed up. I found
it was backed up before the bridge.
Yeah. There was an accident on the bridge yesterday about 4:30.
Anyway, I thought, oh, great, classic. But I was going to call you and say, hey, I'm late. There's traffic. But I thought you'd go, yeah.
Yeah, traffic in the racquetball cart.
I know.
But arguing with respect, there are a few little rules that we've had over the years. And one is we never use the D word. We don't use the divorce word. We don't, that's just not it. I used to always tease him when we were first married. I don't believe in divorce. I believe in murder, though. And I used to tell him, I'd kill you before I divorce you. Not really. I'm just kidding. But we don't use the D word. We don't. That's one of the things. We also don't say, I'm going to go sleep on the couch.
Yeah, that's another one, right? We have never, not that we're perfect, because there's been plenty of nights we've been upset, but we made a commitment to each other that other person will not be expected to sleep on the couch because they got in an argument. Again, that's a rule we've made.
That doesn't mean we haven't taken a baby to the couch and slept on the couch way back when our kids were babies so that the other person could sleep. It doesn't mean we haven't fallen asleep on the couch and had to go wake the person up at 2 a.m. and say, hey, come to bed. But it means we don't use that as our threat. We don't say, well, I'm going to sleep on the couch. Or I don't say, you go sleep on the couch. You're making me mad. You're not sleeping in this bed with me.
Right. And again, these are rules that we have made. And we're just sharing them with you that time-tested, 32 plus years of marriage, they have been working well for us.
Right. And we do our best not to bring up the past, right? A past argument. And that's always hard for me because I'm more the tally person. You always do that. He will remind me that always is a big word. And so I remind myself that all the time.
And every time.
And every time. Those are big words. Meaning that's not true. It doesn't always happen. It doesn't happen every time. But I tend to want to use those words. And he reminds me those are not words that we're going to use. And that's good. So it's not bringing up the past. It's really, we have to let go of the past and start fresh all the time. And that to me is arguing with respect, is starting fresh. We've ended this conversation. We've come to a resolution. We're moving on. We're not coming back to it again, right?
And not just argue with respect. Treat each other with respect. I mean, I know our point here is, learn to argue with respect. But it just means in all part of your relationship, treat each other with respect. It's like, you can control it. You know how you know you can control it? Is that you could be in a massive argument with somebody and the phone rings. And all of a sudden you're like, hello. Well, what happened? You just completely changed your behavior, right? So you can change your behavior. And it's just a choice. You do it. And we find that it works. And statistics proven that it works. So it's not just us saying it. I think it's something really important.
So those are our 4 additional ingredients to a thriving marriage. Be a helper. Ask for help, my friends. Be a good friend. Remember, this has got to be your best friend. Choose your battles wisely. And argue with respect. So those are our 4 ingredients for today. So thanks for joining us. We will see you again.
And I apologize for all the technical stuff. We'll work on it.
Unfortunately, we're live, so we can't fix it.
Yeah.
So, okay, thanks.
Talk to you
later.
Have a
great day.